In the Middle Ages, it was believed that a woman should only have sex to conceive, and if she didn't want a child, why should she have sex? Let's look at what options were available to a medieval woman who wanted her intimate life to be without consequences. The interrupted intercourse option requires no additional devices and allows the lady in love to say yes to sex. It had to work, didn't it? No sperm, no baby. However, this practice was recommended in the Middle Ages in a very limited way, only to those who lacked the willpower to refuse sex altogether. I think you've guessed who particularly disapproved of this method. Yes, the church. Spilling a man's seed was by all accounts considered a condemnable act, and we know for a fact that this method was used in some cases in the Middle Ages. One woman went to court with a rape complaint. To one complaint, she added another that the rapist had also ruined her dress. This could be taken as an implication that he interrupted the act at the last moment to prevent the woman from becoming pregnant. If the woman was not sure that the man would accept her refusal or stop in time, she could go the other way, completely extinguish the flame of lust in him before the situation got out of control. Here again, herbs came to the rescue. Aristotle gave recommendations on passion killers as far back as antiquity, although they were actively used by healers even in the middle of the Middle Ages. In particular, he suggested the use of black and white melon, leeks, lilies, lettuce seeds, coriander, common twig, ruta, and camphor. Even a cursory glance at the list is enough to realize that many of these passion killers could kill the one who ate or drank them. Poor peasant women were provided with free contraception for some time by breastfeeding and poor nutrition. Ladies from the upper strata of society often used the services of nurses and had much better nutrition accordingly. They risked getting pregnant much faster. And since pregnancy somewhat interfered with the noblewomen's ability to lead their lives, they took a keen interest in contraception. Were there many methods available to medieval women? She could jump around after intercourse and shake the semen out of herself. The woman was also advised to sneeze and try to push the sperm out of herself, which sometimes works. A woman could also urinate immediately after intercourse in the hope that the semen would be washed out by the urine, provided she was able to urinate just when she needed to. I understand the basis for such an idea, and Albert the Great thought this method was effective. What about condoms? Objects that cover the entire penis have probably existed since time immemorial. It's a reasonable assumption condoms have been used as far back as the ancient Romans. After the Romans left Britain, condoms disappeared from the archaeological record for no apparent reason except for religious reasons, because the church strongly objected to the waste of male semen. They suddenly returned in the 15th century. The oldest condoms found in the excavations were made of animal products, particularly thin leather, and were intended to be worn on the penis. Archaeologists found them in a cesspit in a castle in the town of Dudley. These few condoms date from 1642. They are thought to have been worn by soldiers at the royal court. They were reusable and made from animal entrails. Most likely, by the way, they were not used for contraception, but to prevent venereal disease. Surprisingly, some medieval women knew about contraception and used it. Since childbirth was extremely dangerous, many women did not want to have children, and the church, you see, strongly condemned this. St. Augustine, for example, clearly stated that any woman, married or not, if she uses contraception, is a whore in the eyes of God, for the only worthy reason for coitus is procreation. In the most likely to work category, the most sensible method of contraception is the barrier method. It originated in Germany. Women there were inventive. They made something like a modern tampon out of beeswax and rags. It really wasn't a bad solution. The rag was placed inside and blocked the opening in the uterus, and the wax impregnation provided good protection against sperm penetration. What about the most obvious birth control block? The contraceptive sponge. Did women use something similar? The historical data we have on this subject are sketchy. Here and there are mentions of such a method, but none of them are from the Middle Ages. Why? It's a mystery. In absorbing semen to prevent conception, sponges are certainly better than nothing. Besides, they can be washed and reused. The next remedy falls into the most likely to work, but also kill category: lead sprinkling or eating lead. Seriously, never eat lead. Do not wash the most intimate parts of your body with it, nor any other parts. It will kill you. This is where the "it works, but not in the way you think" category comes into play. And once again, we hear the voice of the famous female medicine man of the early Middle Ages, Trotula di Ruggiero, always ready to help women with a couple of great recipes. Here's the kind of advice she gives. Take a male weasel, and, having removed his testicles, set him free. Let the woman carry these testicles behind her sinus, wrapped in goose or some other skin, and she will not become pregnant. A woman could also simply refuse to have sex. If she was unable to say no to sex, she could get a few cats to distract her and help her think less about seducing men. That's a great workaround. In the Middle Ages, even nuns were allowed to keep cats as companions, as they are useful creatures and excellent rodent control. So say no to sex and get a cat. That's it. Do you like the video? Then don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot of interesting, shocking, and exciting things ahead.